should not be impartial, because the present is informed by the past, and the citizens have always thought that the past has been a past which they have perceived the provincial administration to be partial. What is expected of them in this current constitutional dispensation is non-partiality and good governance.
One of the scenes witnessed during the post-election violence here in Kisumu was the looting and burning down of the supermarket behind me, Ukwala Supermarket. It has clearly risen from the ashes since then, having been reopened 2 years ago. And what the business managers here and in most businesses around Kisumu town now say, they intend to open their businesses as usual during a hotly contested nomination process and as well as the election. However, they say they will enhance security. Residents in Kisumu who spoke to KTN said they would participate in the primaries and hope the process will be peaceful.
Hii nomination ya kesho hapa Kisumu itakuwa mbaya kwa sababu hapa ni tunapiga 6 piece, tunapiga ODM. Kwa hivyo kesho ndio kama election yani.
Naomba in any polling stations security ikuwe beefed up, kwa sababu huwezi jua kesho itakuwaje.
Hata raia wasaidiana na polisi, kwa maana raia ndio wako kwa ground, watajua ni nini inaendelea, ndio wapatie polisi information, polisi wakuwe aware.
Now, in the stories that we've been running throughout the day today here in Kisumu, we've been talking about security concerns. Yesterday was a particularly worrying incident outside of the Kisumu Divisional Police Headquarters, where supporters of a county representative aspirant called Seth Kanga clashed with police in very, very tense circumstances. One police officer was shot. But here to discuss the wider context of security in the upcoming nominations is a provincial police officer for Nyanza, Mr. Joseph Oletito. Thank you very much for joining us on set this evening.
Thank you, Alan.
Now, that incident notwithstanding, that points to a larger problem here in Nyanza, and the problem that you pointed out today in one of the meetings, which was the fact that there might be some aspirants who are planning violence, particularly to disrupt these nomination exercise. Why is that, according to you?
Yeah, thank you, Alan. As I had mentioned to you earlier on, is that it's very interesting because there are people who believe that they should be elected through thick and thin, which to me is really a very wrong perception. Why? When you commit a crime as an individual. And of course, if investigations are done and we find there's an element of some truth in the allegation, then of course we shall go for you. We shall arrest you as a criminal, but not as a party or as a tribe.
All right, it seems like you know what exactly is going on. So what are you doing about it?
Very good. What we are doing as far as the police is concerned is that we are really trying to lay our strategies right. Why? Why are we doing that? When you go and commit a crime, you also expect to be arrested, because what you are doing is not within the confines of the law.
Mr. Oletito, that's painting that in very broad strokes by saying laying out strategies. What in particular is, you see, because there really are historical reasons for the concerns that Kisumu and other areas have, for the concerns that they have in these upcoming nominations. They want to know exactly, even in point form, what exactly the strategies of the police are in dealing with incidences of violence tomorrow.
What we have put in place is that, of course, we have increased the numbers of the police officers.
How many?
We have increased the patrol. We have enhanced the patrols from the normal patrols to more extensive patrols, both day and night.
To how many police officers? How many have been deployed?
We are having not less than 4,000 police officers in the whole province. Mm-hmm. We have been given some more other police officers, 4 platoons from the GSU, mm-hmm. who are with us here. We have formed our own special units within the police that we have been having here to ensure that we cover both day and night operations. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, I've just asked about how many police officers have been deployed, but there have been discussions between you and some of the top brass and aspirants here. Now, let me just refer you to the incident that occurred last night, What action is going to be taken against people who would flout the law in such a manner?
As police, we have no option. Such a characters will always face the law. We arrested the suspect, and of course, for us not to be seen as if we are trying to let him down tomorrow in the presentation of the papers and the voting and the nomination, we allowed him to do what he wants to do. But come Monday, he's going to face the law.
All right. Now, there's a predisposition that we were speaking about this earlier, but just let me bring our viewers up to speed. In terms of the voting, the polling centers that have been laid out here in Nyanza, that has a bearing on the possibility of a predisposition of some areas to violence tomorrow. Why is that?
That is there as far as I'm concerned, because one, it is the ODM, this is an ODM zone. This is a party matter. The party organs decided which among the polling centers they are going to use in tomorrow's exercise. To our concern, as I'm talking to you right now, some polling centers have been put quite very far away from where the voters are. In Henses, there is going to be an issue with the voters, because they may not be getting to the centers that have been allocated. Another very critical thing, the numbers have been reduced so from, assumingly a constituency had 600 polling stations as per the ICB. The parties have reduced these numbers to 50. So meaning that you will have quite a very huge numbers in one specific polling center. And of course at some other places, because this is more or less a strategy by those who are planning to ensure that some of the polling centers are quite very far away from where the members of...
All right, let me take you back to another issue that we had been speaking about, the issue of violence, especially with regard to Seth Kanga's incident. The gubernatorial and parliamentary aspirants, many of them from ODM, said that yes, there is the necessity and the obligation of parliamentary aspirants and lower aspirants to follow the law, but the police themselves handled that situation badly in not realizing that this is a very tense time, and therefore they should have perhaps asked him to record a statement. What do you make of that kind of an allegation?
That is somebody who is trying to jump the gun. You don't commit a crime and say, this is because we are going for nomination, I am going to break the law and I will be left scapegoat free. You commit an offense, you expect it to be arrested.
All right, Mr. Limited, we have to end it there. Good luck in securing the vote tomorrow and in the days coming forward towards the general election. Now, we were talking about this story with Mr. Tito, and as the clock winds down to tomorrow's crucial nomination exercise, a key concern for the security apparatus here in Kisumu and in surrounding counties is that of security. Just last night, in front of the Kisumu Divisional Police Headquarters, a tense standoff between supporters of a county representative aspirant who had been arrested on suspicion that he was in possession of over 200 machetes and clubs broke into a violent confrontation in which one police officer was shot. Now, all day today, the Provincial Security Committee has been holding meetings with the aspirants to forestall what they believe are plans by some politicians to disrupt tomorrow's nomination process. Now, here's that story with some exclusive footage from last night's melee. It may have been borderline comical at times, but the happenings at the Kisumu Divisional Police Headquarters were definitely steeped in tension, with protesters pushing the police. And a few minutes past 11 p.m., the police pushed back. Shortly after the entrance of one of the aspirants here at the Kisumu police station, the police seemed to have had enough, and after a long time and a long wait and a long standoff, they started firing tear gas into the air, clearing the crowd. The night cat-and-mouse game was fast and furious and violent as well.
Move in, officers. Let's move.
This police officer getting injured as he gave chase. He was shot in the leg, but it's unclear whether the bullet came from fleeing protesters or from his fellow police officers. And into the wee hours of the morning, gunshots could be heard in various parts of Kisumu town as police made good on this order from Kisumu East OCPD Musa Kongoli.
Make sure that now your station is clear. Make sure that the other areas are properly covered.
The situation began to unfold early evening Tuesday after ODM County Representative aspirant Seth Adui Kanga, the immediate former councillor representing Milimani Market Ward, was asked to go to the police station to assist in an investigation that the police were carrying out about him.
There were 100 rungus and bankers which were bought within one of the shops within the town, and somebody was suspected they were being prepared to disrupt the nomination. So the police moved in and one suspect was nabbed and placed in, and the investigations were still being carried on. So the investigation was that they needed their aspirant to be released, which we were saying that it was not in order, especially during the night, to do that.
What would follow were hours of a build-up of tension, with ODM parliamentary and gubernatorial aspirants coming in and out of the station and trying to calm the increasingly irate crowd. Things came to a head when Kisumu County Governor aspirant Ruth Odinga came in to do the same. The excited crowd poured into the station after her, causing this reaction from the police. Seth Adui Kanga was released early today on a cash bail, but the incident has caused a serious rethink on security matters here in Kisumu. By 10 this morning, the Provincial Security Committee was meeting to discuss how to avoid violence in this complex county. A complex situation indeed here, that of security here in Kisumu as well as the surrounding counties. But there has been also concerns of security in Bumula all the way out there, with one aspirant of the Amani coalition pulling a gun on the other. We'll have the update on that. But for now, Sophia, what can we expect from our coverage in Choice 2013?
Indeed, we will be covering it all day tomorrow morning, early morning. When you wake up, you will be finding us live on air. We have our eyes and ears on the ground in the entire of Nyanza. So you definitely want to keep it with the authoritative station, KTN. For now, we hand you back to our headquarters to Linda Ogutu.
John Alana Musofeanuna live from Kisumu. Many thanks. Of course, Kisumu is where we witnessed a little bit of chaos yesterday evening. Alana, they are speaking to the police who are giving the assurance that tomorrow's nominations will be safe, will be secure. They have enough police on the ground to make sure that there will be security. And so still on nominations, the next 48 hours are set to be the busiest for the police force as they go all out to avert nomination chaos. And as the preparations were finalized, the deputy police spokesman, Charles Owino, reassured Kenyans that security has been beefed up to ensure smooth running of the nominations tomorrow, with social media subscribers and users cautioned against hate speech. The reassurance came in the wake of sporadic violence in some parts of the country ahead of the party primaries that will take place tomorrow.
The Inspector General has directed all police commanders from the district level to ensure that security is provided in these primaries that are taking place tomorrow. We are going to make it even more stringent than the general elections. We are going to take a lot of interest in the primaries tomorrow because all the 47 counties are considered hotspots, because you are aware that people will be fighting to be governors and also to be senators. And a lot of effort is going to be put. And people may try even to use violence. Others may try to intimidate others. Others may try to threaten others. We've just heard that women are not getting equal opportunities as men, and some are even threatening the police. And that will not be accepted. Police officers and police commanders in all regions have already prepared their operational structure place, and I think from tomorrow, very early in the morning, we'll have officers deployed in all centers that we are going to have our primaries undertaken.
All right, so ahead of that Super Thursday, Kenya National Congress leader Peter Kenneth has formally got his party's nod to run for president on its ticket. Kenneth also named 33-year-old Ronald Osumba as his running mate. And as Betty Kello now reports, former Minister Raphael Tuju was expected to team up with Kenneth, bowed out of that race.
Contrary to what many had speculated, that is, a Kenneth Tuju ticket to battle it out come the March 4th election, the Eagle Alliance today surprised many as it unveiled 33-year-old Ronald Osumba as Peter Kenneth's running mate.
My very great pleasure to introduce the Eagles Coalition's running mate, and that will be Ronnie Osumba, who is here with me.
Today, with much humility, I respond to a national call of duty as I humbly accept the nomination to be Honorable Peter Kenneth's running mate.
While explaining the rationale for choosing Osumba as his running mate, Kenneth said Osumba stood a better chance since Kenya's population is largely made up of the youth.
Ronnie grew up as a humble young boy, grew up in slums of Kibera, went through primary school in Kibera, and eventually ended up where most of us ended up as young, needy and bright students in Starehe Boys Center. Ronnie has been a manager of one of the biggest companies in our country.
Employment is a critical link between poverty reduction and economic growth. Our investment in education must be aligned with skills development that responds to the needs of the labor market.
Osumba, who is now the newest face on the political front, graduated from Moi University in 2003 with a bachelor in business management. He has worked in managerial and administrative positions in different institutions. On his part, Tuju said that the Eagle Alliance would clinch power come April this year. For KTN, I'm Betty Kello.
So let's now take a look at other stories making headlines with Wilkis Tanyabwa.
Being against the current year appears to be giving TNA a headache in a few areas.
Gubernatorial aspirant Dr. James Nyoro has decamped from the National Alliance Party to Water Minister Charity Ngilu's knock just a day before TNA party primaries. Kiambu County, predominantly a TNA zone, had attracted 4 gubernatorial aspirants under the TNA ticket. Under NAC, Nyoro qualifies for a direct nomination to contest for the governor's seat. Elsewhere in Nairobi, the United Democratic Forum welcomed former PNU officials George Nyamweya and Stanley Livondo, who are gunning for the position of senator in Kisii and Nairobi counties, respectively. UDF also received Ndura Waroinge and Bablu Walji, both aspirants for parliamentary seats in Nairobi. The party has appealed for peace across the country during the exercise. Meanwhile, Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant Jim Nambaru has revealed plans to build 500,000 low-cost houses if he secures the position. Mbaru, who says he would build 100,000 houses every year over the course of 5 years, has narrowed down on housing as one of the key areas that require improvement in the city. Other areas of concern include security, transport, and the cost of living. And finally, it is yet to be confirmed whether immediate former Starehe Member of Parliament and gubernatorial aspirant Margaret Wanjiru will take part in the nomination exercise under ODM. ODM National Elections Board Chairman Franklin Bett says Wanjiru's papers are yet to be authenticated. Meanwhile, Bett has called for peaceful party primaries in the face of reports that the party's returning officers have come under threat ahead of the party primaries. Wilkis Anyabo, KTN Prime.
Well, a lot of hearts will be broken tomorrow. A lot of political careers will come to an end, especially after that nomination that is expected to take place tomorrow. Edith Kimani has a look at just how critical the contest will be. Edith.
Well, thank you, Linda. And both you and Wilkis Tanyabwa have hinted on some of the things that I'll be talking about. Of course, the critical contests, as we're calling them, which are all pegged on the party primaries, which are slated for tomorrow and are expected to be a showcase of a fierce battle between political rivals. Now, as it is, both ODM and TNA are reporting aspirants in the thousands. And after tomorrow, we expect some unknown names to make it to the ballot. And of course, in the same breath, the downfall of political heavyweights. Observers say some contests are worth watching, and one of those is Siaya's gubernatorial seat. 69-year-old Oburu Odinga is vying for the seat on an ODM ticket, arguably one of the most popular aspirants in the region. The Prime Minister's brother was serving as the Assistant Minister for Finance in the 10th Parliament. Pundits say he appears to have grassroots support, although recently there have been reports of him being booed at rallies during his campaign efforts. Now, giving him a run for his money is Malik Obama, who, just like Oburu, has garnered massive popularity, all thanks to his surname. He is the oldest half-brother of US President Barack Obama, and Malik has not hidden the fact that he plans and intends to use his ties with the US President to steer the 800,000 people of Siaya County forward. And in Kiambu, that gubernatorial seat is also proving another one to watch. The two men believed to be the protagonists of this particular race are James Nyoro and William Kabogo. Now, Kabogo is a former Juja MP, and he's definitely not new to politics. A close ally of Uhuru Kenyatta, he has also not been shy to flex his financial muscle. There are, however, integrity issues surrounding this former MP, who has been linked to drug trade in the country and the mysterious murder of a university student. His political rival, James Nyoro, that's the guy on the far end, who was in TNA, jumped ship to GNU and then NARC party when things got too heated at TNA. Now, Nyoro has served in different capacities in the private sector, working for AGRA and the Rockefeller Foundation. In Western Province, we're also warming up for a major bullfight between frontrunners Boni Khalwale and Cyrus Jirongo. Khalwale is, I understand how it's said, Khalwale, who is a close Mudavadi ally, is thought to enjoy grassroots support, although Jirongo also boasts an enviable support base. A doctor by training, the former Ikolomani legislator, that's Boni Khalwale, is hoping to clinch the Kakamega senatorship on a UDF ticket, and his political nemesis Cyrus Jirongo is eyeing the same seat but on a Kadu ticket. Having served as Lugari MP, Jirongo is also no newbie to politics. His recent move to join CORD dispelled the notion that he is a lone ranger, a move that adds to the simmering ingredients of this particular looming battle. And in Nairobi, probably capital battle, Iron Lady Margaret Wanjiru, of course, all factors considered, and businessman Evans Kidero. A bishop, former MP and former assistant minister, Wanjiru is seen as a shrewd politician who has managed to garner massive support in Nairobi. A recent opinion poll by Sinovate showed her as the leading contender for the Nairobi governor's seat, with her closest competitor, Ferdinand Waitito, coming in second. Evans Kidero, who is the former Mumias Sugar MD, came in third in the polls. Now, both...
Right, we apologize for that sound hitch. We're working on it. Of course, we'll get Edith back to give you an indication of just how critical tomorrow's nomination will be in some of the areas that she has not touched. You're watching Choice 2013 on KTN Prime. Many thanks for staying with us. Remember, we are live from 6 locations right now. I hand you over to Rita, Tinina, and Eric Njoka, who are in Nyeri.
Thank you very much, Linda, and welcome back to our coverage from Nyeri. We are coming to you live from the Green Hills Hotel.
And indeed, this is the region that boasts of over 690,000 in population, and all of them are aspiring for a governor, a senator, a member of parliament, woman representative, and also county representative. The list goes on.
Earlier in the day, aspirants did a last-minute campaigns trying to woo voters ahead of tomorrow's nomination exercise. It was largely peaceful, and residents here are hoping for an even better day tomorrow.
We were lucky to meet with the local police boss and the IEBC officials who have promised residents in this county that the primaries tomorrow will be smooth and secure. From Nyeri town, the capital of the county, campaigns are in high gear in preparations for the D-Day, the party nominations. Political intrigues and jostling for big party tickets reached fever pitch Wednesday as aspirants for various seats across the county made last-ditch efforts to woo voters ahead of the nominations Thursday. Security during and after the nomination is key in Nyeri County. According to Central Provincial Police Officer Larry King Kieng, the officers have been directed to ensure a smooth nominations calendar.
We shall as well enforce the law to the latter in case if there is any lawlessness in anywhere.
Officers from the IEBC are prepared for the exercise, albeit as observers of the nominations. Upper Central Elections Coordinator Patrick Odame stated that IEBC will only be responsible in overseeing the process and control any loopholes reported to the Commission.
We have also emphasized on dispute resolution mechanism within their parties, which they should employ to ensure that the exercise is free, fair and peaceful.
On the streets of Nyeri town, however, expectations are high from the nominees who will be chosen by their parties to vie as governors, senators and members of parliament.
There are a lot of problems. There's a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of insecurity. A lot of businesses are collapsing, and we would want a leadership that would address those problems.
Kwangu hata wengine labda mimi najua, lakini wengine kule mashinani hawajui, haelewi maneno ya gavana nini, maneno ya senator ni nini, maneno ya hizo representative ni nini. Wanje sasa watuelimishe.
Doors at the St. Peter's Cathedral Nyeri will be opened at 6 p.m. for the final tally. The governor contest in Nyeri County is promising an interesting battle between Wahome Gakuru, Wachira Keen, Nderitu Gachagua, Thuo Mathenge and Jorori Mutahi, with each exuding confidence that he will beat the other in the contest. The county, with a population of more than 600,000, has been dogged with several challenges, including poor farmers' benefits despite the coffee boom.
Here in Nyeri, the Kibaki succession has added to the intrigues of the intense political battles. Several aspirants, including controversial businesswoman Mary Wamboi and Gishuki Mugambi, who has the backing of the First Family, are seeking TNA's endorsement to succeed Kibaki in Othaya.
Well, although TNA is seen to enjoy massive support, it is not a walkover for Uhuru Kenyatta's party. And I'm going to ask Rita, since she did that story, why so for Uhuru?
Well, the GNU party, which appears to be swimming against the current here, is giving TNA a slight headache in a few areas. GNU, for instance, has fielded 5 parliamentary candidates in 6 of the constituencies here in Nyeri County. It also has a candidate for the governorship position, and so it will not entirely be a walkover for TNA, although TNA is believed to enjoy massive following here. Here now is the political outlook of Nyeri County. Nyeri, which is home to Kenya's 3rd president, has over the years helped shape politics in the larger central Kenya region. Now, with the retirement of Emilio Mwai Kibaki, who is Kenya's longest-serving member of parliament and the dominant political figure in central Kenya for close to 4 decades, the stakes are high as leaders jostle for the leadership of the agricultural-rich county. The Kibaki succession has dominated campaigns in the county of 6 constituencies: Othaya, Tetu, Nyeri Town, Kieni, Mukurweini and Madera. Kibaki's departure and the political landscape introduced by the new constitution have shaped what is turning out to be the biggest political battle yet for the county of close to 700,000 residents. For starters, the new realities that will see voters elect 6 leaders have separated political foes Nderitu Gachagua and Ephraim Maina. The two are involved in a bitter and well-oiled campaign for the Madera seat in 2007. The two are now fighting different battles. The gubernatorial race has attracted several candidates. There is former Madera MP Nderitu Gachagua running on a GNU ticket.
TNA has Wahome Gakuru, a former member of the Vision 2030 Secretariat, the Nyeri County Council Chairman Washira Kin, and former International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda attorney Paul Ngarwa to choose from. Sabasaba Asili's man is Dr. Ndhuo Madhenge. Mwangi Njorori is seeking the seat on a NARC Kenya ticket, while Kamau Gatweshi wants the URP nod. Mathira MP Ephraim Maina is seeking TNA's endorsement for the Nyeri senator's seat. His challengers are former Internal Security Minister Chris Murungaru, running on a DP ticket, and former Information Minister Mutahi Kagwe. With Kibaki set to exit the political scene after 39 years as Othaya MP, the race to succeed him in Othaya has given rise to an intense and interesting battle. Kibaki has not endorsed anyone, at least not directly. Political activist Mary Wamboi, who for years was a key Kibaki campaigner, is now seeking to succeed Kibaki. But it won't be a walkover for the influential businesswoman with deep pockets. Wamboi will be seeking the TNA endorsement. She is up against Gishuki Mugambi and Peter Kingara of GNU. TNA's Gishuki Mugambi has the support of the First Family, or so says the president's son.
Mzee alisema mimi niko na mtu mmoja tu na jina lake ni Gishuki Mugambi.
Others hoping to step into Kibaki's shoes are Esau Kioni of DP and businessman Emilio Kiboi of GNU. The March polls will mark the end of an era for Mwai Kibaki, and for the people of Othaya, a chance to choose a new MP in 39 years. The GNU party may be giving TNA a headache in a few areas, but for a region perceived as a TNA stronghold, some feel that clinching the TNA ticket is as good as a win at the ballot come March 4th. Perhaps the reason why the stakes are quite high in the party primaries.
All right, earlier my colleague James Smart spoke to one of the candidates who are willing to succeed President Kibaki in Othaya, and that is TNA's Mary Wamboi. I'll now take you over to James Smart with a snippet of that interview.
Do you have some people nationally, have come and say, we've been sent by so-and-so, and we have this, we have their blessings for so-and-so in this particular Othaya, for instance? Do you have the blessings of the outgoing MP of Othaya?
No, I went there personally. I was not sent by somebody, but it's Othaya people who pursued me to go to be the MP. There are some people who say they are sent, but that I said it's not true, because as far as I know, no time, even one time, when we are working in Othaya, the person who was told that sending somebody have never said he want anybody to be elected, because he believe in people's mind they can say what they want. So whoever's saying that he was sent, that is not true.
Do you yourself have the blessings of Mwai Kibaki?
No, me, I don't have blessing of anybody. Nobody told me to go to study in Othaya, because I believe by myself that what I want, and I want to fulfill my dream to help Othaya people.
You've worked and campaigned for the last many decades for the outgoing MP. Supposing on Thursday you get that nomination certificate, will he come out and campaign for you?
No. For me, I just said, I believe in what I want. I believe in God. And I know there's so many people praying for me, since they saw what is happening in the court. Because the whole country, I help the whole people without thinking which tribe. So I know I want to campaign, I want to ask the people for Othaya to give me vote without pursued by anybody. Because I believe TNA, up to now, they have not gone to do any campaign for anybody. But when people are going to be nominated by people, that's where the TNA will come. I do campaign and they say, this is our person.
Nationally, people know you. You've worked nationally in all corners of this country, and now you're going for the Othaya seat. But you still have some, national figure, national image. Will you disappear once you get the MP of Othaya and leave everything that you do nationally?
No, I'll be helping people everywhere in this country. After I finish, if I elected as MP for Udhaya, it is not to mean that I will be work for Udhaya alone. I will do for everybody, because the charity work, I like to do it myself. And I know the whole country. I'll be going to say hi to them, helping each other, and we will continue as friends.
We started with NAC activist, then we went to a PNE activist, now we are calling you a TNA activist, and that's what we branded you as media. How do you describe yourself?
Because the media, they saw there is something, every party where I went to be a member, I used to do work for that party. When I went to TNA at Kasarani, I can tell you that so many people saw it that TNA is a good party because I'm there. They know I cannot cheat them. They know wherever I'm going, I know they know I'm a believer and I cannot cheat them. Wherever I decide, they say it's a good place. That's why the TNA now, in Nyeri, they have got so many people. And even the nationally, there are some people who came to the TNA because of me.
So are you a TNA activist?
No, I'm not active. I'm a TNA person, a national person from TNA.
Finally, on any special relationship with, President?
He's my MP, he's my president. Why? That is the family life. You know, but nobody can answer about the family life. That is a different as what I'm doing. Yes.
Right. And
that is my private life.
And the country has no business in your private life.
They know exactly, they know the truth. And the truth, no, you cannot hide the truth. They know what they know and what they believe.
In Meru County, the Alliance Party of Kenya held its nominations for various elective positions. Party leader Kiraitu Murungi, who is also the Energy Minister, was nominated and opposed to run for the county's senator's seat, while Peter Munya was endorsed or got the party's nod to run for the governorship position.
The Alliance Party nominations here in Meru have been very, very peaceful, very open, free, transparent and fair. You can see our delegates are very relaxed even as they vote. And indeed, we want to be the trendsetters. We want to lead by example.
So tomorrow, make a date with us because we have a full exclusive coverage of the wider Nyeri County, which we promised has a population of 690,000, 6 constituencies, all of them hoping to have a member of parliament, a senator, a governor, a county representative, and like I say again, the list goes on.
And we will not only be keeping an eye on things for you from Nyeri County, our news teams are spread across the larger central Kenya region, and we'll be bringing you the very latest from neighboring counties such as Embu, Kirinyaga and Laikipia as well. From us from here in Nyeri at the Green Hills Hotel, we say thanks for watching, or as they say here, Thegio. I'm Rita Tinina.
And I'm Eric Njoka. Tuona nei roshio.
Rita, Tinina and Eric Njoka live from Nyeri. Many thanks. This is Choice 2013. We have been live in Kisumu and Nyeri. Let's now take you to Eldoret, where a fierce battle is expected between aspirants on URP ticket. KTN's Masi Kandie has an indication of just how the preparations are going on.
Thank you, studio. Eldoret town is at the heart of Uasin Gishu County. With only a few hours away from the nomination exercise, aspirants have been using this last minute to vigorously campaign and try and convince the region that they are best suited for various seats. The region has also enjoyed being in government under the Kanu regime just before multi-partyism. Here is now the story of a region that has embraced multi-partyism and is said to be leaning towards the Jubilee Alliance. A metropolitan region that no politician can ignore. Comprised of 6 counties, the North Rift region has been viewed as a one-party zone, but with the advent of multi-party democracy, there has been a transformation.
There's a perception of areas of dominance for political parties. This dominance is based purely on perception.
Nomination for party aspirants is a tough task for a region known to rally their support behind their prominent leaders. What many say is that the dominant party nominations may be viewed as a direct entry to government.
The nominations in this region, especially in URP, is going to be a hotly contested affair, and it's going to redefine whether URP is a strong party or it's just a party that was started for the sake of capturing power. I'm saying this because the number of aspirants who have come out to contest for these various seats have invested heavily because they know that once you capture a URP ticket, it's like you are good to go.
There is trouble brewing though. North Rift is known to be leaning towards the Jubilee Alliance. However, lawyers from the TNA and URP party acknowledge that despite having a coalition agreement, there is no coalition management body after unsuccessfully convincing the perceived URP strongholds to have joint nominations, something that might cost them votes.
The first indication that they are not ready in handling the losers is how they moved their nomination dates to the last day, the last possible day for holding nominations, because they know within their own party hierarchies that the losers will try to shift to other political parties and seek the tickets and probably get them.
In the towns, the People's Parliament is getting bigger by the day. Many are here to know who is who in the new seats that come along with the constituency boundaries review. Others are here for a vocal fight for the alliance they believe in.
Ni kama wana code. Sisi hatuna kelele mingi sana na mambo ya by election, hii election yetu. Si tuko wachache. Wana URP wote wamemwagika, wamekuwa watu kama 20.
Senate, governor na lep. Tunapea nani? Jubilee. Hakuna kitu kingine.
And so they meet on a daily basis, agreeing to disagree, the moment of truth being Thursday, a much-awaited date in the region in the runoff to the March 4th elections. The 2013 elections will see the election of 1,450 county representatives, 290 members of parliament, 47 senators, 47 governors, and 47 women representatives. Security has been beefed up here in the North Rift region, considering that Eldoret town was a hotspot during the 2007-2008 post-election violence. But as of now, until to date, no incident of violence has been recorded, which is good for the region that is now setting a good example for the rest of the country. From Eldoret town, I'm Mercy Kandiye for KTN. Back to you in studio.
Mercy Kandiye live from Eldoret. Many thanks for that. Of course, political bigwigs are expected to fight it out for that all-important nomination in the coastal city of Mombasa. KTN's Ferdinand Omondi takes a look at what's going on there.
Good evening from a county that is well known for its high temperatures, but which is expected to generate a lot of heat tomorrow as various candidates seek the party nominations to contest elective seats in the March 4th general election. I can confirm that the nomination or the ballot boxes and ballot papers for the Orange Democratic Movement have already arrived. They were received this evening at the Makupa police station by the returning officer Prince Kadenge and the county ODM coordinator Geoffrey Muyeshu, both of whom gave assurances on the nomination exercise tomorrow. Take a listen.
We've been training the presiding officers and their clerks since morning, and we're happy right now we've received the documents that are going to help us to achieve the goals that we've been set for, and we wish every aspirant the best.
A person shall vote for the ward rep, let's say Tononoka ward in Vita constituency, Tononoka ward, then atakuja kwa senatorial, atavote either the candidate of his or her choice, and then the Mombasa County women representative atachukua yule ambaye amechagua. So our ballot paper is as clear as that.
Now, from Makupa police station, the documents and the boxes will spend the night at Mbaraki Primary School, which will be the official tallying center for the Orange Democratic Movement, and tomorrow they'll be distributed to various nomination and election centers, and voting is expected to start from 6 in the morning. But even as the election process is yet to begin, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has voiced concern that several parties had not yet furnished the body with details of how they expect to carry out their nomination processes, including the expected venues of the nominations, and this is expected to be a bit of a headache in terms of logistics of monitoring how transparent the processes will be. Here is IEBC's South Coast Coordinator Amina Sood.
At least tungekuwa na hiyo list watafanya wapi lini tangu jana, lakini kwa wengine wametupa, kwa wengine hawajatupa, na kuna vyama ambao wameweka sheria alafu wao wenyewe wameanza kuzikeuka. Umenifahamu, kama hizo coalition zao, lakini pia hiyo hainitishi kwa sababu mwisho wake lazima wakubaliane.
Now several parts of Mombasa County have also been sounded out as potential security threats, with the police and other security organs saying that some politicians have hired youth who could potentially cause chaos in the nominations exercise. But the police have warned that anyone who attempts to do that will be met with the full force of the law. Here is the Coast Provincial Police Officer Agri Adoli.
That one amounts to a very serious crime, because this is a national exercise that is done after every 5 years, and therefore we cannot allow goons to disrupt an exercise that takes us 5 years to repeat.
Even before the nomination exercise begins, we are hearing possibilities of being named defections tomorrow ahead of the nomination exercises, but nothing has been confirmed, so we are still expecting bruising battles. But so far we can confirm that the Nyali parliamentary aspirant Hezron Awiti Bolo has dumped ODM and will be seeking to get into the ballot box on another party ticket that is allied to the CORD Alliance. According to his representatives who read the statement on his behalf, Bolo has made the move in order to avert possible bloodshed. It was expected to be a bruising battle between Awiti and John Mcharu for the ODM ticket, but now it seems that they will meet on March 4th on different party tickets, but still allied to the CORD Alliance. He is the statement read in part by his chairman for the Luo community.
We have resolved with one voice after deliberations that Honorable Hezron Awiti Bolo to resign from ODM and join any other party under the CORD Alliance.
We spoke to Bolo himself, who confirmed that he is consulting to see which will be the best suited party for him to seek election on March 4th, and his options under the CORD Alliance, we understand, is the Wiper Democratic Party, Kadu Asili and Kalembe Ndile's Tip Tip.
We will decide tomorrow which party, and I will negotiate with those parties.
Ahead of the nominations, we can confirm to you that the CORD or the ODM ticket is the most wanted here in the county of Mombasa. The race for the ticket for senator is one of the most hotly contested, pitting the outgoing Changamwe MP Ramadan Saif Kajembe, a veteran politician who has been at it for the past 30 years, but will be facing opposition from Hassan Omar, who is a former commissioner of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. The race for the gubernatorial ticket is expected to be a one-way highway for Hassan Joho, the outgoing MP for Kisauni, as it is reported that his potential opponent Abdallah Mwarua, who was on the Wiper Party, has now defected to the Jubilee Alliance. So by the end of tomorrow, it is expected that Hassan Joho will have clinched ODM's nod to run for governor on the ODM ticket. In the Jubilee TNA Alliance, following the defection of Abdallah Mwarua, will be expected contest for that ticket with Garib Suleiman, who currently is the councillor for Tononoka. The other prominent parties that are remaining are expected to give nods of endorsement to their candidates. That includes UDF's Suleiman Shabal, who is running for governor, and in the Republican Congress, where we have party leader Najib Balala, outgoing member of parliament from Vita, who is seeking to be senator on the Republican Congress ticket. And he has formed Team Mombasa with Ibrahim Hamis Babangida, who will be seeking to run for governor. KTN is on the ground. We'll be furnishing you with the latest details. 2 reporters, 3 cameramen, and a live satellite link. There will be no better coverage than right here on this channel, KTN. My name is Ferdinand Modi. Back to studio.
Ferdinand Omondi, of course, giving you the assurance that KTN will cover the nominations for you in a professional and fair way. Of course, talking about assurances being given on the nominations and the concerns that are currently rising just a few hours to the nomination that is expected to begin tomorrow at 6 a.m. Of course, he's also looking at defections, and one that stands out is that Hassan Omar has defected from ODM, just one of the many defections that are expected as the country heads towards the nomination and even after that particular nomination. So that was Ferdinand Omondi in Mombasa. Let's now take you to Makueni, where KTN's Ashamwilu is standing by.
A very good evening to you in studio. We are coming to you live from the lower eastern region of Kenya, and particularly in Makueni County, where we've pitched camp tonight. Now, this region has 3 counties. This is Kitui County, Machakos County, and Makueni County. And over the last couple of months, we've seen 2 political parties dominating the political scene in this particular region. That's Wiper Party of Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka and NARC, Rainbow Party of Charity Ngilu. Now, when we talk about the party primaries, when we look at these 3 counties, there are 2 counties which are predicted not to be really competitive. This is because individuals running for various elective posts in different political parties are actually going for the party tickets unopposed. So, but when we that's Kitui County and Machakos County. So, for instance, in Kitui County, where Charity Ngilu wants to be the senator, and in her political party, that's NARC, she's the only candidate seeking the party ticket for the senatorial position. So obviously this is going to be about a direct nomination for her. But when we come to Makueni County, this is where the contention is, especially in the senatorial race. We have 2 political bigwigs in one political party seeking the party ticket to run for the senatorial seat. This is Education Minister Mutula Kilonzo and Gideon Dambuki. Both of them members of Wiper Party for a number of years, and both of them right-hand men to Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. So it'll be really interesting to just monitor Makueni County, monitor the nominations come tomorrow morning, and see how it goes. Of course, the KTN crew here in Lower Eastern Region will be moving about, giving you the live updates hour to hour, minute to minute, to make sure that you're covered all across the county. Well, from myself and my crew, Ashamwilu, I hand you back to studio, and have a good night.
Ashamwilu live from Makueni, of course, with a look at the big political fight that is expected tomorrow within Makueni. Of course, that is a story that we'll keep an eye for you. Ashamwilu will be on that particular story. This is Choice 2013. KTN is live from 6 locations: Nairobi, Makueni, Mombasa, Eldoret, Nyeri, and Kisumu, where John Alanamu and Sophia Wanuna are standing by.
All right, many thanks, Linda.
More interesting polls to look out for will be some of those that will be happening, of course, in this area. And we are going to have a look at a story that was prepared by one of our reporters.
Right, I am at Ugunja town here in Ugenya constituency of Siaya County on this, the eve of the nomination of the political parties. Of course, the Jubilee, the CORD and the Amani coalitions are going to hold their nominations tomorrow. This particular area is significant, especially for the ODM party, where, as you know, this area is predominantly an ODM-dominated area, and should one get the ODM ticket under the CORD alliance, most likely that is one step into whatever seat the person is vying for. Now, the governor's race here is pitting 2 people. The brother of Raila Odinga, Dr. Oburu Odinga, is vying for the governor's seat, and is contesting for the ODM ticket together with William Oduol, also of ODM. And of course, as you remember, Dr. Oburu Odinga had stepped down as a senator. He was vying for the Senate seat with together with James Orengo, and they decided to split, one to vie for the Senate and Dr. Oburu to go for the governor's seat. And of course, also the senator's seat here in Siaya County significantly not having any contest, because James Orengo is not having any competitor, and he will have to go it alone. So there won't be any nomination for the Senate seat. But of course, there is an independent candidate that will be vying for this seat come the 4th of March general election. This is what we found out as we went around just to see how people are seeing the race for the governorship and also for the Senate in tomorrow's nomination.
And I'm going to compete if the people of Siaya decide to give me a position of a governor. Will that be called creating a dynasty after fighting so much and sweating to get it? I'm just vying like anybody else. And vying really is not creating a dynasty. A dynasty is inheritance.
It cannot be said that the decision between me and Oburu was a boardroom decision, because we said that our energies are better spent if we did not fight tooth and nail over one position.
I do not know how we are going to conduct our nomination process tomorrow. Nobody has talked to me. So this is a clear manifestation of the things they want to do tomorrow. They want to steal our votes. They want to steal the elections. And we are putting them on notice that the good people of Siaya are watching.
Hawezi kumpatia juu ndugu yake anataka president, dadake sijui anataka nini. Kesho sisi ndio tutaamua. Debe ndio itaamua kama ni Oduol ama ni yeye. Lakini sana sana Oduol ndio yako.
Kwa maoni yangu naona hivi, kwa vile senator sasa tumepeleka Siaya, mimi ningeomba saa hizi watu wa Bondo wape Oburu. Ndio hizi vitu vile balance.
Of course, the important thing that you need to know is that should one get the nomination certificate for the ODM party, that is one step into election, and the nominations that will be carried out tomorrow is significant in such a manner that it is in itself an election.
Now, in yet another worrying but very ironic incident, members of political parties under the Amani coalition very nearly came to blows and then bullets.
UDF's aspirant for the Bumula seat, Boniface Otiula, was attacked by fellow Amani coalition candidate Jack Wamboka from Newford, Kenya.
The aspirants clashed after the youth allied to Wamboka allegedly smashed windows of vehicles belonging to Otiula's campaign team.
Now, Wamboka is then alleged to have drawn his gun on UDF supporters, causing mass panic.
Our police are currently searching for Wamboka, who is said to have gone underground.
Indeed. I know, and that's why we wrap up our tonight's coverage here in Kisumu town, the lakeside city. As we promised, tomorrow bright and early throughout the day, you want to definitely keep it on KTN. We have a very competent team here. We have Aaron Ochieng, we have Purity Mwambia, we have Zubaida Kanan, we have Fred Omulo, and of course, John Alanamu and myself, and the entire technical crew led by our director, Kibisu, who will be leading this team. And you definitely want to stay with us as we bring you the best of the coverage of 2013.
Now remember, now remember, Choice 2013 is also going to be trending on Twitter. Just hashtag it, Choice 2013. And for Kiswahili, our Kiswahili viewers who are also on Twitter, it's hashtag Kinyang'anyiro 2013. Follow us on KTN Kenya all throughout tomorrow, as well as Friday as the results come in. But for now, let's hand you back to Nairobi. It's good night from us at the lakeside town of Kisumu.
John Alanamu, Sophia Anuna, the reassurance there and the confirmation that KTN is the station to watch. This is Choice 2013. Many thanks for staying with KTN. We are taking a short break, but we are not done, because when we come back, KTN's Ann Kiguta will be hosting two officials from Jubilee Coalition and CORD. Stay with us.
I am Ann Kiguta, and joining me now in studio, we have two members of key coalitions in the country, of course, from CORD and representing as well ODM, the chair of the elections board, Franklin Bett. To my immediate right, Karibu Sana. To my extreme right is Sunday Oyolo. He is the executive director of campaigns at UDF. Thank you for coming in this evening. And also joined by, in the middle, Professor Peter Alingo. He's the executive director of the Institute of Education in Democracy, and also a member of ELOG, which is an elections observation group. Thank you so much to all my guests for speaking to us tonight. I want to begin with the representatives of the two coalitions, and there's a lot of confusion as to who exactly is taking part in these primaries. Who's going to be voting? Are they registered voters or registered party members?
There should be no confusion. We have made it extremely clear as CORD that a person holding the national identity card and a person appearing on the IEBC register will participate in the elections. We have not been able to use the party's register for reasons which are more or less housekeeping, in the sense that we were not able in time to put together all the registries from across the country. And as well, that the criteria now being used is equally good.
What's the situation for UDF?
UDF, we have a little different from what ODM have. We have the party list of members. That has accumulated over time. So we had put a clause to it, and we are using that list compiled across the country.
Okay, so
and
party
we have
members
the register, yes, that we are going to use for
All
this.
right. Are you gentlemen both happy with the security preparations? I know you both your coalitions have, of course, been in touch with security officials. Do you feel that the right apparatus is in place to ensure a free and fair exercise tomorrow?
I must begin by thanking the President, who has added his voice to the need to be vigilant on security. And he has instructed the security apparatus across the country to be fully alert for any ill-motivated people who may be wishing to foment chaos. We are also extremely grateful to the Inspector General. He's deployed to us personnel at our polling stations. And there are personnel who are also equipped with the relevant equipment for that purpose.
But you know, what we've witnessed in the past 24 hours has truly been disturbing, and you've watched the clips that we've been playing of the violence in Kisumu, in Bumula, and in other places. And I know as ELOG, you're watching this situation very closely. How far do you think the violence that we have seen over the past 24 hours will influence the credibility of tomorrow's exercise?
Yes, indeed. The question of violence in the coming nominations tomorrow is quite a concern to us. And then we are seeing this in the context of increased sporadic violence, not just in areas that are perceived as strongholds of certain political parties, but in other areas of the country as well. And our concern is that for the process to be really credible and be viewed as a process that has integrity built in it, peace has to be there, law and order has to be there, the rule of law must prevail, and that is the bottom line. And our concern really is at the level of preparedness, both on the side of the political parties and also on the side of the security operators in this country.
Do you think political parties are well prepared?
Well, we hear them tell us that they are prepared, but you see, we've just listened to Honorable Franklin Bett here telling us that the voting process will be on the basis of anybody who is in the national register and has a national ID. So potentially for CORD, all the registered 14.3 million voters could
go
hop from one place to another.
I want to
vote without vetting that. Primarily, in principle, that is that, without him telling us really what are the control mechanisms that they have put in place.
What are the
But these are the things that we need to know.
I want to make it, maybe my friend is not aware also. Parliament changed the law and said in a primary over party, the members and supporters shall be allowed to participate. That was the last amendment that was given before Parliament went on a sign die. So there is no, hitherto, it was indeed a requirement that, like my colleague in UDF is saying. So we are not in any way committing an offense in that particular aspect.
I think,
and if I may say, what is wrong with the 14 million Kenyans if they are coming to vote
How will you
along with us.
How will
Absolutely.
you control
And,
14 million Kenyans?
And the principle is this, that we must be able to see some sense of growth in internal party democracy. And the way party operates, there has to be some sanity and order. And that requires that we are able to have a mechanism through which we can identify those who are
party members.
Those who are either party members or supporters. You cannot say that anybody who is in the national register is either a supporter or a member. They can as well be members or supporters of the Amani coalition right next to us here. And that is where we see
and Sunday
potential.
No discipline on the part of
absolutely.
In fact, what I'm seeing
as well.
What are you seeing?
What I'm seeing is a recipe for chaos, where people who will have voted in Amani or UDF, for that matter, will then in the afternoon cross over, because they form part of the 14 million anyway. So they will go over.
Unless they are also,
the code.
Ourselves, we are using indelible ink. Unless you are not using any control mechanism.
So you'll be able to see that they have actually taken part in another primary.
If you are not controlling them by putting that mark on their fingers or whatever place, so that they may not be able to vote elsewhere, then in my view,
Amani coalition will be the cause of that chaos. Let me talk about some of the problems that we've seen with your coalition, and of course the issue of New Ford Kenya's aspirant attacking a UDF aspirant, even the allegation of a gun being drawn. What measures are you going to take as a party to deal with this and to instill discipline and show that you're not going to tolerate any kind of violence?
Violence is not tolerated, particularly within the Amani coalition. The name suggests that we don't tolerate.
So what you're going to do, those are words right now?
I know that the organs of the coalition, the Apex, are dealing with that, and the communication will be made.
That doesn't sound very satisfactory. It sounds like you're hoping something is being done, but nothing really is being done.
I'm saying will. I actually use the word will.
Such as, what are your options?
No, I
not
don't
having these aspirants take part in the nomination, that would sound like a clear warning.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is that the top organs of the coalition are meeting for the purposes of that particular incident.
Well, and you know us, we'll follow you up on that. Yes. On Sunday, I asked you about violence and what you're willing to do. We've had the Milimani Market ward aspirant having been arrested for a period of time in possession of machetes and all of that. Is the party going to let him take part in the primaries?
We have opened a file, and we are monitoring the behavior of every aspirant. In effect, I have released a letter or a circular letter to all the aspirants requiring them to maintain law and order. We have attached to that requirement that any aspirant who will sponsor, who will abet violence, shall face the consequences of being disqualified.
Let me come to you, Prof. There's a file, there's a meeting. Are these satisfactory answers to you from parties?
Not at all. They are not satisfactory at all. And these are the things that as observers in the process we raise, so that tangible, real interventions can be made. In the hope that who will
take action?
Look, I mean, the party has responsibility. It is an institution. Parties are institutions of governance. We expect them to have good structures in place, in preparation for this. And we want to see functional structures and machinery in place. We don't want to see a kind of glossing over these issues, because these are the issues which spill over if they are not dealt with. Simply opening a file, simply telling us that the party echelons
is taking action.
He's taking action. I would love to continue with this conversation, but I can't. Gentlemen, I thank you. And Linda, these are the very real challenges that are facing parties ahead of this primary. There doesn't seem to be real action, real determination to instill discipline among their members, among their supporters, saying that violence will not be tolerated. But of course, as we continue in the defense of public interest, we'll keep our eyes on them. Back to you in studio.
And Kiguta, many thanks for that. Now, a lot of political leaders will be hoping to clink the nominations come tomorrow, and the Law Society of Kenya has released an integrity report that lists leaders tainted by corrupt scandals. LSK Chairman Eric Mutua says that over 10,000 lawyers will disseminate this information to the electorate. A number of those mentioned are vying for various elective seats, and according to LSK, the said people are not suitable to sit in office.
The civil society is fighting to have the Kenyan electorate vote in favorable leaders and possibly those who are not tainted with past scandals and issues of integrity.
The election will either make or break the promise of Kenya's constitution.
And to ensure that voters go to the ballot fully informed, the Law Society of Kenya has released a report with the names of leaders who have been implicated in past scandals, with the hope that voters will be dissuaded from voting them into elective positions.
As far as we are concerned, if you have not been cleared in these reports, then you do not meet that chapter of integrity, leadership and integrity.
The report adversely names 13 members of the 10th Parliament who are vying for elective posts.
Chapter 6 deals with issues beyond criminality. It deals with the conduct, with the general conduct of those who've held public office. That information is not necessarily going to be with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
In late 2012, members of the 10th Parliament made amendments to the Leadership and Integrity Bill, claiming that if it was passed in its original form, it would lock out most, if not all, politicians vying for elective posts. To the dismay of a section of Kenyans, the presumably watered-down bill was assented to by the President. There was a hope that even as parliamentarians seemed to look out for their own interests, the judiciary would step up and enforce the law despite its leniency.
And the integrity criteria is uniform for anyone who is applying for state office. So whether you want to be a judge, or whether you want to be a parliamentarian, or whether you want to sit in the county assembly, you have to be somebody who has not violated Chapter 6.
The judiciary has distanced itself from any responsibility of barring any unsuitable leader from vying in the next election. Instead, it has handed this responsibility to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Isaac Hassan. And in light of this, the Law Society of Kenya has handed this report to IEBC. So the country will be keen to see who Isaac Hassan decides is suitable to lead the country. Catherine Omwando, KTN in Nairobi.
Right, so members of civil society burned coffins outside Parliament in what they termed as a send-off gift to members of Parliament who served in the 10th Parliament. This after they held demonstrations in the city streets carrying coffins and urging Kenyans to vote wisely in the next polls. Civil society activists have led Kenyans in demonstration a number of times in the past to protest greedy decisions by the MPs.
State burial ballot revolution was the writing on these 210 coffins to represent each elected member of Parliament who served in the 10th Parliament. According to activists, this was to mark an end of an era of politicians who they termed as selfish. From Uhuru Park and along the streets of the capital, it was a send-off. Human rights and civil society activists held peaceful demonstrations to bid farewell to MPs. The activists urging Kenyans to vote wisely in the March 4th election and choose leaders of integrity. They blamed the MPs for greed and serving their selfish interests instead of those of Kenyans. Outside Parliament, the coffins were burned down.
We hope that the Kenyans will choose the leaders who not only break the law, but also steal from our coffers.
The 10th Parliament is on record for passing bills that agitated Kenyans. The MPs watered down the Leadership and Integrity Bill, which intended to ensure those elected to public office are people of high morals. Just last week, MPs passed a bill that would have awarded them a hefty 9.3 million shillings gratuity, a move that was immediately opposed by civil societies. President Mwai Kibaki, however, declined to assent to the bill. Enzul Katuse, KTN Prime.
Election years in the past have been marked with low activity at the stock market, leading to poor performances by most stocks. But if the recent performance witnessed at the NSE is anything to go by, 2013 could be a profitable year for investors. On Wednesday, the NSE 20 share index surged to 4,553.25 points a level last seen in 2011, with foreign investor participation in blue chip counters pushing them to new 52-week highs. Kenyan stocks, the worst performance in sub-Saharan Africa in 2011, were the best last year as the central bank reined in on inflation and spurred a rally in the shilling. Safaricom, KCB, KenGen, EABL and Kenya Power have been among the most favorable counters, with analysts arguing that the foreign investors are shutting out political risks associated with election cycles.
With the current momentum, it has surprised us as the industry participant. We've been surprised by the current momentum in the market.
That said, a smooth transition after the elections will be required to sustain the rally that is so far yielding high returns for investors. Michael Karanja, KTN Business Today.
On to more business. Kenya Pipeline Company plans to construct a new oil pipeline to replace the existing 35-year-old one and enhance operational pumping capacity. The new multi-product pipeline is to be laid alongside the existing 450 kilometers one from Mombasa to Nairobi. It will be designed to meet petroleum product demand in Eastern Africa for the next 30 years. According to tender notice in a section of the dailies, it will replace the 14-inch diameter pipe that has 8 pumping stations with an hourly pumping capacity of 830 cubic meters per hour, which had an economic lifespan of up to next year. The pipeline is one of the key petroleum infrastructure facilities in the region, transporting more than 80% of petroleum products to Uganda, Rwanda and Burundi. And as Kenya enters the electioneering period, manufacturers in the country are sounding an alarm that the sector will register low growth. This, they say, is due to a number of investors holding back their plans ahead of the March 4th elections. Philip Keitani with the details.
During the 2008 post-election violence, the manufacturing sector lost an estimated 10 billion shillings. Coupled with this, more than 4,000 jobs were lost, what foreign direct investment plummeted almost 75%. The association now warns that a repeat of the same will not sit well with the sector, as they have already observed a trend in which investors are taking a backseat. On a positive note, the Kenyan manufacturing sector welcomed various initiatives by government to boost international trade, as exports will offer respite to the manufacturing sector as the uncertainty grips the local market ahead of the 4th March general elections. Also on the focus of the manufacturers this year, they say, is the growing labor cost and energy supply. The two factors they add will be key in driving productivity, depending on how they are managed, both on the government and private sector sides. Philip Keitani, KTN Business Today.
Well, unlike other years, 2013 doesn't seem as bad when it comes to just how scared the manufacturers might be on how the elections are meant to affect the business economy. Now, let's wind up business tonight by looking at how the money market is performing in Kenya.
It's now time for sports. I'm Nicholas Mudimbo. I begin some soccer here in the country as FC Leopards technical bench team together with the players have vowed to shun the dark past by focusing more on how to improve the squad, aiming to lift this year's Tusker Premier League. Last season, the team failed to win any title despite being close with 9-point lead at the top of the standings, but eventually had to settle for the third slot, a situation which led to the dismissal of former tactician and Coops and 10 other players.
It was a near full house at the AFC Leopards training camp on Wednesday morning at the Moi Sports Center in Kasarani. Assistant coach Tom Olaba is currently handling the team. According to Olaba, the near full house underlined how ready the players are in winning the 2013 Tusker Premier League title. The Leopards finished third last season, but Olaba believes the team has what it takes to claim the crown this year.
I want AFC Leopards to give me a support, just like the way they gave Jan Coops. And I believe there's going to be a change with this team.
The tactician says he understands the pressure on the technical bench to deliver. Olaba's proven track record, during which his stints in the Tanzanian league, together with handling a few of the country's soccer youth teams, is what Ingwe banks on this season.
They have given me a benchmark which I cannot go less than number 1 and number 2.
Olaba confirmed that 2 of their players, Alan Wanga and Florent Nayaba, left the country for trials in Europe. Charles Okwemba and Vincent Ochieng could be on their way to join relegated Rangers FC. The team has signed 4 new players: Omoto Batila, Noah Wafula, Anthony Mutho Kimani, Noah Abich and Jackson Saleh. Also in the squad are 2 other development players, Bernard Ongoma and Michael Wandera. Wednesday's training was unique in the sense that the former AFC Leopards legends, led by Joe Kadenge and George Sunguti, joined the current players at the Kasarani Stadium during their training. The current and the former players played a friendly tie.
Sisi EFC ndio inafanya at least tuko hivi.
The Leopards opened their season campaign away against promoted Homeboys.
And to some continental showpiece, Morocco midfielder Younes Belhanda says his country cannot afford another disastrous African Nations Cup finals campaign after last year's premature exit. Morocco among the pre-tournament favourites at last year's tournament but crashed out early after losing the opening 2 matches. Meanwhile, with less than 3 days to go, Bafana legends have promised to back the team in the tournament. This year's Barclays Kenya Open Golf Championships will be held between February 14th to the 17th at the current country club. It will be the 44th time the annual Premier Golf Tournament will be staged in Kenya. The organizers announced today that the Pro-Am will take place on the 13th of February at the current country club, and the other will be held at Muthaiga Golf Club. 26 countries will be represented this year. The host, Kenya, expected to field at least 22 professionals. 4 Kenyan amateurs will join the Kenyan professionals. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Uganda and Rwanda are the other African countries which will be represented during the 3-day event.